Happy Sunday to everyone out there. Happy Sunday. I know everybody's prepping to watch the Super Bowl. I mean, majority of people, right? I guess half the world actually watch the Super Bowl. I mean, it's increasingly becoming better each and every year. And I think I'm gonna sit down and watch this Super Bowl. The past couple of Super Bowls are kind of not that I lost my love for football, but it's just kind of like even football and professional sports are becoming even more political as these years progress. Now, first, if you guys are kind of looking for electric vehicle, because I'm looking for another vehicle as the lease of my current vehicle is actually expiring. I've been looking at vehicles like the GV80, very luxurious vehicle. Looks very sexy in my opinion. I like it, real sleek lines. Um, the Porsche Cayenne, out of my price range. Okay, totally out of my price range. Won't even be looking that hard. We'll talk about it. Yeah, we can have the conversation, but out of my price range. And the Lincoln Nautilus. I don't understand a lot of the vehicles that the Lincoln brand has. I know about the Navigator, the Aviator, and I guess now the Nautilus. Okay. But nonetheless, I just wanted to kind of start off with, because I'm looking at these vehicles, maybe you guys are too. But believe me, this vehicle fully loaded is $80,000. Okay. They have 50 down here. No one ever buys a $50,000 model because that model is not on the lot when you go. So it's always at least $70,000 up to $80,000. Now, this Porsche Cayenne, they say that it starts around $70,000. Family, let me tell you, the one that you would be interested in getting is $90,000 plus, okay, at the bare minimum. Because a basic Porsche Cayenne, you're like, hey, the basic one must be really, really nice. But when you get in, you're like, But again, this is a hybrid, so maybe I will look at it at 70,000, but it may only come with one seat. Okay. And then the Lincoln Nautilus, let me see where they got this one at. Oh, it got around $45,000. Okay. I'm not too keen on American SUVs. We make a lot of good muscle cars. We make good pickup trucks. But some things, family, yeah, let's just keep it real. Last time you had an American car, it probably didn't turn out that well for you as far as in a sedan. Okay. Now, let's move on to other news. I know a lot of people have been talking about LeBron James breaking Kareem's scoring title. Um, Congrats. I mean, a lot of times, family, when we congrats people and we're happy for people, just think about that we are happy for their personal achievements and maybe not our own. No, I'm just kidding. Because people like, oh man, that's hating. No, it's really not hating. I'm not hating on LeBron. I mean, wonderful achievement. You beat one of the greatest records of all time. And now you have that record. Okay, cool. I mean, cut the check. Cut the check. I'm not talking to LeBron. Cut the check, U.S. government. I'm basically what I'm saying, family. It doesn't matter what we talk about here today. Just remember the focus is cutting the check. Okay, regardless if you agree with the narrative or not, it really doesn't matter. Let's move on. Now, this always hits home for me because this is what I've been saying for a very, very long time. Whether you are religious or spiritual or you meditate like I do, we all have our different beliefs and we bring those things to the table because America, believe it or not, was built off Christianity. Okay, it is within the very foundation and fabric of the religions and spiritual practices that we have in America. Now, one of those things we have to remember, family, is that I'm gonna say Joe Biden. I don't want to do it, okay, because he's not been the only president that allowed millions of different people in the country, whether legally or illegally. Illegally. But we have so many people within our United States mixing pot, and they bring their cultures, they bring their religions, right? So people are now speaking out, say, yeah. No, we're not doing that. We don't want you to be praying when you come to Colorado University. This is for Deion Sanders. And family, whether you agree with it or not. Because take, for instance, some of you are Christians, Muslims, Hindu, Buddhists, whatever, right? And then some of you have chosen not to follow any of those religions. Maybe you was in, then you got out, or maybe you was out and then you got in. But here's the thing. Bringing such a powerful tool that's considered within the Christian faith of praying for something is infringing on the indoctrination of them naturally evolving for themselves. You get what I'm getting at? When you really think about it, because when I was a child and I grew up, we grew up in a Christian household, so to speak. Now, because of my mother's poverty level, I really didn't go to church, but everything was about Jesus. Everything was about God. Then when I lived with my aunt, we went to church every Saturday. We come 7-day Adventists. Not her. She just sent me and my cousin. That's it. Me and my female cousin went to church for a very long time on Saturdays. And then because of that indoctrination, I'm going to tell you what I'm getting at. Because of that indoctrination, family, what occurred is I continued the cycle of being a Christian, right? Not having a mind for myself and let me choose my own way. See, it's weird because when you're outside of the Holy Bible, then you are lost. Then when you get inside the Holy Bible, then you're found. What I'm talking about, raise a child up as though they should go. That's in the Bible, correct? I don't know what verse, I don't know what chapter. But the point here is, why am I using this initially? And this is my counter argument to all of this, family, of this huge story, because America has been changed forever. Okay, America has been changed forever. We used to stand up and pray allegiance to the flag. Remember that? And then in school, we used to have prayer. They took that out. Why is this also important? Because the world is changing. The English church over there in Europe, the English church are now allowing gay marriages to happen in the church. This is huge when they're considering the European powers and what they're doing. But this has always been the narrative that they've been at, but they have made, unfortunately, us the face of homosexuality, which is what they've been doing for a very long time. We're also the face of the criminal class. But anyway, not to get sidetracked. The point I'm making here, family, is that, is this wrong? That's the question for you guys. Leave it in the chat. Is this wrong? What I mean is it wrong for Colorado University to prevent Deion Sanders from praying with the team? Or is it wrong for him to initiate and start this prayer either before the game, during the game, or after the game, or whenever he does it, and the team has to be present for the prayer? I know what you guys are going to say. It should be optional, right? Because we're all intelligent people here. It should be optional because people can actually file complaints that you are forcing your religion upon me. Because here's another one. Some people say, well, I didn't say Jesus. I just said God. All you guys practice religion, right? Well, no. Okay, we can go over there. They making this a whole fiasco. I'll leave it right there. All right, so that's the story that's coming out of Colorado University. They don't want him to pray no more, basically. Now, I know you guys heard about the story that Kyrie Irving left the Brooklyn Nets and he went to the Dallas Mavericks, which supposedly he's very happy, but he only been there, what, a week or two, if that. And James Harden came out and said, oh, I know why Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant wants to leave the Brooklyn Nets. And there's always this kind of racial undertone. I believe that the owner of the Brooklyn Nets is a gentleman called Joe Tsai, who is of Asian descent. But there have always been some sort of rhetoric coming out of this basketball camp about the undertone of racial tropes, racial misdirected comments, essentially. So I can understand. James Harden isn't surprised Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving wanted out of Brooklyn, having tired quickly of the dysfunction he saw in his brief time with the Nets and asking out. Now, I always think about, because when you think about dysfunction, you think about disorganized, this, that, and the other, but it also a sense of confusion. Dysfunction has an element of confusion that you need to be aware of and understand. Because dysfunction doesn't just mean disorganized, it means chaos. So that's just a small bit from there, because Josiah has said some very inflammatory racial comments towards black people. So I wonder if James Harden tried to be diplomatic and kind of clean it up and said dysfunction, right? A lot of them, they're forward thinking not to hurt their bag later on. Now, this is a great one here. The U.S. jet shoots down flying object over Canada. And the president of Canada is not happy with that. It says Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he and President Biden had ordered the object violating Canadian airspace to be taken down a day after another object was shot out of the sky near Alaska, right? Here's the president of Canada, or the prime minister. It says here that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada said that he and President Biden had ordered the downing of a flying object that represented a reasonable threat to civilian aircraft, okay? You know what I love about news? News is like a living entity, because I read a story earlier where he was against them shooting it down over Canada, right? And now it's like, oh, okay, they were in cahoots together. At the end of the day, you have to use your left and right hemisphere of your brain and your mind and come up with your own conclusions. Because that even sometimes when I do the news and I read a story, I'm like, hold up, 20 minutes ago, it was this. But of course, new information comes out. That has to be fact checked. Who fact checked the fact checkers? Yeah, you get what I'm getting at. But anyway, it states here, I ordered the takedown of this is such a lie, of an unidentified object that violated Canadian airspace, Mr. Trudeau said in a statement posted on Twitter. He said an American F-22 with the North American Aerospace Defense Command, which is operated jointly by the United States and Canada, downed the object over the Yukon territory. Minister Trudeau, I just hate when they say unidentified. They kind of make it more than what it is. Listen, everybody knows it was a spy balloon from China. Weather or spy balloon, okay? I don't know. Shit. we could be making a bigger case out of this. Look, here's the thing. When people hear me talk, a lot of them hate it. You know why? They're like, yo, pick a side. And I try to look at things from both sides. And then probably off camera, I probably already made my decision more times than not. But when you look at this, could America shot down these balloons, found out they were just actually weather balloons with the technology that's inside of it, and they're not actually spy balloons trying to take pictures? And I'm just asking questions, right? I'm pretty sure there's some information out there, because I'm talking live here, that now they figured out they had small miniature cameras inside of it. That's what I'm getting at. It just grows. It just goes, okay? I see my buddy Wendell in the room, okay? I see Stephen Gardner. What's going on, good buddy? Trudeau didn't want it shot down. He wanted it forced vaccine. He wanted it for... See, that's what I'm saying. Earlier, it was stating that Trudeau didn't want it shot down over Canada. Now they're saying that he was in cahoots with this joint F-22 aerospace blah, blah, blah command that actually shot it down. So again, this is crazy to me. But here's the thing, family. And you know how I go hard on the Democrats, and I go hard on Republicans as well. And I'm not an independent, so we don't even talk about them. But the point I'm making here is this. This right here is fucking funny. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. You know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of Sarah Palin. When Sarah Palin was like, I was outside my Alaska home and I saw Russia. That's the bionic woman, and unfortunately, she was a Republican female as well. And Boebert said she shot herself while aiming at the Chinese balloon. I'm trying to figure it out. Pow! Oh! Wait a minute. Okay. I don't understand it, family. That's what I'm getting at. I don't understand how you shoot yourself. You guys can't even see the story. How do you shoot yourself pointing up at a weather balloon, spy balloon? How do you do that? Okay. And then again, it's another Republican female something just weird happens with Republican females. Okay, I just don't get it. The last Republican female said, she was asked a question. She said, what type of magazines do you read? This is Sarah Palin again. This is Sarah Palin. What type of magazines do you read, Sarah? Oh, I read all of them. Well, name a couple. Yeah. Let's read all of them. Because people was asking, so you read every single magazine that comes out? And now we got Boebert shooting herself. Sarah Palin talking about she can see Russia from Alaska. I'm like, okay, you got a telescope, you got binoculars. She's like, no, I can see it from my back porch. I can just maybe she can see the Kremlin. I don't know. But I tell you this, what is no laughing matter is the Japanese Fugo balloons that they used on World War II. That was a hydrogen balloon that literally was concocted and made to deliver a payload for an explosion and or a fire to deplete the U.S. forces. All right, because here's back in the day, prior to modern technology and modern industrialism, what they used to do was cut the heads off their enemy and throw them over the wall. The enemies that actually had diseases that they actually purposely injected. They would actually capture people, expose them to the bubonic plague, okay? Have people with armor on and maybe a mask, and catapult their body parts over to the enemy, and then just wait them out. They will come infected, and their armies will be depleted and weakened, and then they'll come over and rule. That's the way they used to do things, family. But as far as the balloons are concerned, they've been doing this in the Asian world since World War II. And I'm not talking about all Asian countries, all Asian people. No, we're specifically talking about World War II, where they used to drop these hydrogen balloons to essentially start fires and cause explosions, right? It states here, between November 1944 and April 1945, the Imperial Japanese Army launched about 9,300 balloons from sites, of which about 300 were found or observed in the U.S. and Canada, with some in Mexico. The balloons were carried by high altitude and high speed currents over the Pacific Ocean, today known as the jet stream, and use a sophisticated ballistic system to control altitude. Wow. This is back in the 40s. We had this technology, family. So you can only imagine what these governments have today. The bombs were ineffective as fire starters due to damp conditions, causing only minor damage and 6 deaths in a single civilian incident in Oregon in May 1945. The Fugo balloon was the first weapon system with intercontinental range, with its attack being the longest range in the history of warfare at the time. Now, they talk about how these balloons were so ineffective. I think sometimes we dumb down the information, or they speculate way too low. You ever heard speculation? Usually it's inflammatory and it grows like a wildfire, but sometimes they can speculate and they can kind of bring an undertone of the importance of the importance of the story. Nonetheless, if these were so insignificant, then why did they reclassify an all-black unit named Triple Nickel back in the day to put out these fires? They was known as smoke jumpers, right? It says here, its conversion, we're talking about the unit, its conversion from a highly trained and combat-ready parachute unit to the extremely dangerous role of smoke jumping, and their performance in one of the best-kept secret operations in World War II. This is from the Japanese Fugo balloons, okay? Now, smoke jumpers. If you guys are not familiar with a smoke jumper, a firefighter who parachutes in the site of a forest fire. Let me go back here because this is important. Here we go. Now, it states here, during this time, they were converted from a combat unit to jumping into fires. And here the black paratroopers here, and this job is very dangerous. They are actually jumping into a live fire, okay? And that's what they know the smoke jumpers, the Triple Nickel, and they converted them over. So I believe that this was very significant. Let me just point out one more thing here. At last, we thought we were going to tangle with Hitler. These are the see, here's the thing. When these soldiers signed up, they wanted to fight. They didn't want to go to the gallery cutting potatoes, cooks, and supply. No, they wanted to fight for their freedom. So it was a burning passion. Even if they knew that they would come to their demise, meaning they pass away, they knew that they were taking a step forward for our race. They were taking a step forward for our freedom. They knew that the sacrifice was great, but it was worth it. But they made us kind of do everything else when we was in the military, except the one thing that would have gave our family honor. Because a lot of times we get these black soldiers, we get these black airmen and black naval men, and essentially we're up front, we're getting awarded, we're doing all these great things, and we're stating we're doing this for our country. Let me tell you, more so than that, and I'm pretty sure there's other families that are non-black, they're doing it for their family. Yeah, the country may be in there somewhere, maybe number one, number two, but they're doing it for their family. That's what you always have to remember, that majority of people that serve, they're not just doing it for their country, right? That may be number two, number three, but for especially black people, they're doing it for them for their family. Okay, so please don't forget about these brothers who jumped in World War II and put out these fires that were called by the Japanese Fugo balloons. Okay, which kind of one of the first time we sorted these balloons out. But let me finish reading this very quickly. He stated, at last we thought we were going to tangle with Hitler, whose embarrassment at the 1936 Olympics of a black American named Jesse Owens was fresh in our minds. We eagerly anticipating pitting the Nazi against another group of black champions. In the book, The Triple Nickels, he going to say that. We soon found that we would not go as a battalion, but rather as a reinforcement company. The reason was simple. We had not trained or maneuvered as a battalion. Okay. The original orders authorizing the Triple Nickel said we would not begin such training until we had reached a strength of 29 officers and 600 enlisted men. This could have been achieved if commanders Army-wide had released volunteers and approved sources of requests for parachute duty. Okay, I don't want to sidetrack the story, but these are the smoke jumpers, family. Let's move on. Now, U.S. developed method to track China's spy balloon fleet within the last year. Family, let me tell you something about our government, our military. Ever since the Japanese made that Fugo balloon, we had information, we have research. Anything that our enemies think about, try to concoct, we counter those things. We have departments and agencies that try to outthink the thinkers. Case in point, I can't reveal any top secret information because I probably don't know any, but I'll say this. There have been many threats against the United States of America dealing with our water supply, how to poison our water supply, right? What biological agents can be submerged in water and grow 10 times the rate and affect as many people? And the reason why a biological agent would be more effective of deleting many people is because a chemical, it usually knocks you out the box immediately. It really knocks you out the box immediately. And trying to find a chemical that can compound in water and not be diluted, we have to think about forever chemicals. Forever chemicals, they just exist. But those don't have a really high acute level to really delete that many people. And before a mass majority of people actually get affected by it, we will find out and counter it. So we go back to a biological agent. Now, I'm pretty sure there's people in small clandestine labs around the world and caves and secret this and secret black sites, etc., trying to concoct a biological agent to be released on, on the public. Now, enemies against America and other countries, I'm pretty sure this is being done. The only problem is they're trying to find out how can it live in water, how long, how deep. And the reason why a biological agent being in deep water, why is that significant? It's because water has a pressure, right? That's why if you guys ever scuba dive, you go down to a certain depth, you have to come back up at a very slow rate in order, I forgot the name of the gas that releases from your body so you don't have the bends. I used to scuba dive back in the day, especially when I was a Marine. But nonetheless, it's very important that we understand the many ways that our enemies, our suspected enemies, our enemies that are our friends, allies essentially, can actually do to hurt us. And we have to counter those things. So they knew about this back in 1945. I'm pretty sure you would think that we had some sort of satellite, some sort of radio waves that we can essentially detect this. But they're stating like, oh, within the past year, America just started concocting advanced technology to detect these weather/spy balloons. Family, we already know that. Okay. Stephen Gardner says she was trying to shoot it through the hole she was digging to China. You guys are crazy. We got Jermaine Anderson in the room. Nice to see you, man. People are crazy. Oh, gosh. Let's move on. More in the news. Okay. Sorry about that. Now, I like to break up the monotony. Just the news is very, very random. We go serious. We go funny. Hey, it's a free fall, guys. Just to let you know. Burning some time in before the Super Bowl starts in an hour here. Nonetheless. This was great, though. I think this is a really good segue. Electric Ram pickup debuts in Super Bowl ad that pokes fun at rivals. Sex drug commercial. This is a really classy sex commercial. Can I say that? Dodge Ram electric vehicle truck commercial is very, very sexy and funny. I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy this. Okay, let's enjoy this together. Okay.
About buying an electric vehicle, but worried that it could leave you
and
unsatisfied, then you could be one of many Americans concerned about premature electrification.
Okay. Look, we're gonna pause this. Here's the thing, family. I have over 1,000 gigabytes of speed. And I had a mesh, and I had this, and I had that, Wi-Fi extenders, right? And I'll test my speed. And like, oh, you're getting 200-300. And I'm like, well, I need a high upstream because I'm a YouTuber and I go live a lot. Then I said, you know what? I'm gonna invest $2,500 because that's, I think, how much it costs for someone to come in and relocate my Wi-Fi, ride them and modem and put them in one of those smart panels. And they drop wire inside of my house where he ran it from, the modem and the router. And this is actually plugged in. So I never know why I'm on YouTube, why my signal is going so damn slow. Okay, and we're going to finish the video, family, but we got to take a timeout. Get the timeout, go grab some coffee, come back, because I want to show you guys this. I really want to show you guys this. I'm tired of it. Okay, I'm tired of the slow speeds. Even my wife knows. She's like, baby, you crazy. I go crazy off of slow internet speed because we pay the most. Listen, look at this. Fast. Not a gig, but this is fast enough. But this is the download. So we have to look at the upload, okay? Because essentially when you're streaming, you're uploading to the internet. We'll wait. Just give me a second, fam. We'll get back on topic, but family, this is the upload. Look how fast it is. So my only point is, and here's the thing, I built my own computer. This computer is fast. My wife was getting crazy with me because the computer that I built is $5,000. Like I put the best components in it that I could afford at my budget. In order to do so, I'm just, again, we go back, we're going to try it again.
Symptoms may include fearing you might not be able to last as long as you'd like.
There was plenty of charge before, and sometimes
okay, you guys are
goes away.
A lot of times.
I've been working a lot.
Being unsure.
Okay, we're not going to do it,
if you have enough
but
power.
anyway, people was making a big story out of them making a sex commercial that I thought was really, really funny. Now, one of the biggest topics that's going on currently is the open AI, The open AI, the company Chat GPT came out and everybody's using this open AI technology. And Google was like, hey, in a couple of months here, we're going to come out with our own open AI that can do some of the same things that particular Chat GPT can do, that we're going to be able to we're going to able to do more. The only thing about this, family, is when we think about Chat GPT and open AI and chatbox and this, that, and the other, is how are they going to make their money? Now, if you go to Chat GPT, you will know now they have two plans. They have the free plan and the premium plan, and the premium plan costs $20 a month. Look for Google to do something similar, but with Google, if people start to use their open AI chatbots more than their Google search engine, what they're going to do is probably use a backdoor technology into the search engine that kind of runs into the open AI, but they need to continue to run ads. Google makes a lot of their money from advertising because you will now go Google everything. And when you go to these different Google, see, the key thing is here. This is what I love about it. When you go to Google, this is the only thing you see, right? Some of the things you frequently visit, but there's no advertisement. But soon as you type in, let's say horses, okay, let's just type in horses, you're going to see advertisements everywhere, right? That's advertising, family. Yeah. You're going to get your story over here. Look, things are popping up. People on horses, advertising. This is where they get all of their money from, a big portion of it. So just understand that. And if people start to using like the Chat GPT, Google's counterpart to that, they're going to have to try to figure out a way in order so they can keep running adware or advertising to make their money. So things like this are very big. Okay. I play around with Chat GPT all the time. And let me tell you, family, this technology has literally changed the game. When I was first showing my wife, she was like, yeah, hey, baby, to tell her, yeah, okay, that's cool. But when we started telling it to do things and tell it how we want it, family, because last time I was on here, I did an example. This thing can write a resume, it can write a cover page, it can write a presentation, term papers, any format you wanted to write it in. Business plan, it can write you anything you tell it and how you tell it. You could type this, write a Black empowerment speech in a tone. Let's just okay. I know. I'm up here explaining it. Let's just try it. Okay. Let's just try it. Because the only way to really to have somebody understand this technology, is to show them. Okay, is to show them. Like I stated before, this space is getting big, right? Chat GPT Plus is available in the United States. Again, they have a premium version. All right, let's check this out. Write a Black empowerment speech by a Black Southerner. Uh-oh. Give me 1 second, family. 1 second. Write a Black empowerment speech by a Black Southerner. Yeah, let's and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, of course, I got to read it, right? And I can read a little bit, not very good. Dear fellow Black Southerners, today I stand before you as a proud member of our community, proud of our heritage and proud of our history. We come from a long line of resilient and strong-willed individuals. It's going too much. Who have faced challenges and obstacles, but have never given up despite the hardships that we have faced. We have always found a way to endure and thrive. Today, we face new challenges as a community, but we must remember that we are more than capable of overcoming them. We must remember that we have the power to create change and make a positive impact in our communities and beyond. As Black Southerners, We have a unique perspective on the world. We understand the importance of community, family, and tradition. We understand the power of our collective voice and the impact that we can have when we come together. I mean, these president's going to start using Chat GPT. This sounds really good. I mean, saying a bunch of nothing, but it sounds pretty good. It is time for us to use our voices to speak out against the systematic. Here's the meat. See, this is like a real speech. You say all your niceties first, blah, blah, blah. Now we're going to start talking about the real issues in the speech. It is time for us to use our voices to speak out against the systematic inequalities and injustices that have plagued our communities for far too long. We must demand equality in education, employment, and housing. We must fight for criminal justice reform and to end to police brutality. And we must continue to celebrate and uplift our culture and tradition so that future generations can know and be proud of the rich heritage that we come from. My fellow Black Southerners, let us not forget that we have always been a powerful and influential community. We have the power to shape the future and create a better world for ourselves and our children. It is up to us to seize the moment and make a difference. So let's stand up together, united in our mission to empower our communities and create a brighter future for us all. Together, we can overcome any obstacle and achieve any greatness. Thank you. Thank you very much. No, please, everyone, have your seats. We got ribs, barbecue, and potato chips in the back. We couldn't get any water. It's from Flint. So anyway, it's not funny that their water's jacked up. Just making a correlation. But yeah, that's Chat GPT, family. Yep. So I won't go too far into that. We've covered that before. I know I said I was going to kind of do a video. I don't think I'm going to waste you guys' time with a video like that. Okay, let's see here. Thank you, sir. Got Jermaine Anderson on the job today. I do appreciate the moderation. Jay the Informant says, Southern boys, I can't do it. I can't do it. Stephen Gardner says, Biden should use ChatGPT. Come on, man. Leave. Oh, man. All right. Let's get back on the ground, family. We're almost done here. We're almost done. No, Joe Biden and George Bush both need ChatGPT. But anyway, I digress. Funny. Now, here's a problem that we covered last time in one of my videos, family, about the surrounding area of these Black farmers. They're being basically terrorized for them to move and give up their land. Okay, so let's watch this very quickly here. I want you guys to be aware of the problem. We're just kind of doubling down on this. We're doubling down so people become aware and help these Black farmers within that area against the face of tyranny and oppression, and to take what's rightfully theirs. So listen in.
How much?
About 12 grand worth of meat, gone, ruined. You know what I mean? Because the motherfuckers in poison that you can't.
Family, I know the video is kind of low, but he said that was $12,000 worth of meat, and the cow was poisoned.
Can't do much with it now. It's a hard pill to swallow, man. You wake up every morning and you do this for a living, know what I'm saying? But you got outside people working against you. Then law enforcement.
Basically, he's running. I hear some music in the background. I don't want my video to get striked, but nonetheless, he's talking about some of the terrorism that's occurring to him and other Black farmers in the area, because there have been people come on their door talking about this is my land. He's been wrongfully incarcerated numerous of times only because he was making complaints. He was actually filing complaints. So there's a lot going on with this particular Black farmer who's been very vocal and very visible. So again, if you're in the surrounding areas, hopefully you can support that brother and some of the things he may need you guys help with. Okay. This is what I love. My brother Marcel Dixon, he's been on the show. He's been on, on the broadcast a couple of times, and states here, America First literally means take care of Americans first. Reparations are a part of that. I can't agree. Here's Tariq Nasheed reposting something of the FFA actually closing airspace over Lake Michigan because there's some sort of object that wasn't an anomaly that was found on radar or something. I don't know. ATLians, I don't know. Do we have aliens? I don't think none of us know. A lot of us would like to go back and forth about if they exist or not. But anyway, back to our brother Marcel Dixon. I think this piece right here will serve us good. I love the way the brother talks.
Two things. One, I'm going to say James Baldwin is one of my favorite Americans, and he said, "I can't believe what you say because I see what you do." James Baldwin said, if they come for you in the morning, they'll be coming for me at night. So if any group in America knows what it's like to not have our vote matter, to be viciously locked out of having a voice, it's Black Americans. They've done it to us for centuries. Don't think that once they get through with us, don't think they won't come for you, because they will. But the Constitution, the preamble of the Constitution says the government doesn't have the power. The government only gets the power that we allow them to have. One of the sayings that really irritates me is when people say it is what it is. No, it's not. It is what we allow, and we ain't allowing this. Great Marcel Dixon, thank you.
Correct. Now, let me speak on something I've been telling people for a very, very long time about. That ultimately, the people of these United States of America have the power. Even if you gave away your vote to whatever political party you felt was good for you at the time, right? Because then you lose power once you give up your vote. But here's how people regain power. Even if you vote, if the people banded together and stated that we're no longer going to follow this and follow that, I know it would be total anarchy, because then you won't never have absolute, right? But here's my point. Name one thing. Name two things that make up a country. Name two things that make up a government. You can't have one without the other. These are the only two things that truly makes up a government and truly makes a country. Does anyone know? I'll wait. Give you guys a couple of seconds to put it in the chat. I can't agree more, Stephen Gardner. But anyone in the chat, what are the two things that it takes to make up a country and a government for that country to be governed as well? And I want you to put them in order too. There's 1 and 2. And some of you are like, well, that could be anything. It could be, no. Once I tell you the answers, then you'll know. Some of you may get it right though. Anyone? Talking to myself here? This thing on? Is this thing on? Somebody please answer. People and ideas. Okay. Now, I would have to say, not moving the goalpost on you. You already have the people, right? That's so. What makes up a country? You already got the people. Okay. Borders and protecting your citizens. Okay. That's very good. Borders and protecting your citizens. Okay. What are the two things to make up a country and government, to create a country and government? So we got people and their ideas, borders and protecting your citizens. Let me tell you how easy this thing is, family. The same way that a country is ran are the two same things that a country needs in place in order to exist. Do you understand what I'm getting at? The two things that a country runs off of are the very two things that a country has been created on. Taxes and laws. You cannot have a country or government without taxes and laws. I just want you to ponder on it, because some of you are like, oh, well, you can have a country with policies. Policies come from laws. Guess what a government needs in order to operate? It needs your money. If the American people, right, from rich to poor, told the government, and I'm talking about everyone, family, everyone, the organizations that do your W-2 and do your W-4, if they did like zero everybody out, the American people are going to take a stand and no one's going to pay taxes. This country will crumble. Because that means that government workers won't get paid, meaning government workers won't go to work, meaning that this country infrastructure will totally and utterly be demolished. Because no one's going to work for free. Think about that. These tax dollars on the federal, state, and local level, they're paying people. People are not going to be showing up to work. This country will fall. And then if no one obeys any laws, think about that. You could be paying taxes, but no one obeys any laws. It would be total anarchy. The stop sign says stop. You continue to ride right through it. Red light, you go on green. It would be total anarchy as well. So in order for a region or area of people that's banded together, if you notice, it doesn't matter what show you watch. I kind of went over this before. You can watch some of these post-apocalyptic shows. They always have this group where there's a president or a board. There's always someone in charge because people seek order. People actually seek good order and discipline. Even criminals who like to prey on people and businesses and organizations and rob people, they actually need people to be good citizens. They actually need people to be in good order and discipline in order they can do their wrong on them. But if everybody is just a killer and a murderer and breaking laws, and you can't think about a lawless country. That's what I'm getting at. A lawless country is not a country. It's just a piece of land that these people are now on. Just think about it. You need taxes to run the country, and you need laws. All right. Here's another bit from Marcel Dixon.
Southern, the Republicans are public enemy number one. That's how I was raised to believe. I never believed that. I believed that they were all awful. I called them the Democrats and that if you're black and you're Southern, the Republicans are public enemy number one. That's how I was raised to believe. I never believed that. I believed that they were all awful. I called them the Democrats and the Republicans. I hated both until I did my research. So I looked up some of the things this gentleman was saying to Clyburn. He said that black Americans had lost 90% of our land, 20 million acres, from 1901 to 1997. Now, 1901, America was doing all type of awful things. But I was like, what's the excuse for that? 1965, I found out we had been voting for the Democrats 90% or more since 1965.
Facts.
We have less land than we had during then. We own less homes now. Our wealth is going backwards. Our kids are killing themselves more. Our schools are a mess. And I said, wait a minute. So Clyburn is on television talking about illegal immigrants, how they deserve to become citizens, how they deserve to get houses. Exactly, boo, definitely. How they deserve to get houses, how they deserve to get resources in healthcare and transportation. And then he said, the dreamers. And I said, the dreamers? Then I realized Trump was right. Americans are dreamers too, okay? Now, and people say, oh, you a Trump supporter. I said, what if I am? I said, I support what's right. What's right, it was right, and wrong is wrong. I said, how dare Clyburn be a black man? Now, first of all, if you are a politician, you're supposed to represent everyone. I don't see party, I see the people. You don't go up in Congress representing Republicans or Democrats, you're supposed to represent the people. But I said Clyburn, to be a black man who grew up in the South at a time when there were horrific things happening, for his district to be 49 to 60% black, he's talking about illegal immigrants deserve the American dream, while his constituents, but especially his fellow black Americans, we're living the American nightmare. I said, that's gonna stop.
Wow. Family, that's a real trooper right there for our people. Let's just keep it real. He's on fire. I love that guy. I love what he stands for. Absolutely love it, family. Absolutely love it. Okay. Now, Family, I just thought that this was funny. I really did. I really did. I'm sorry. I can be childish, okay? And that's okay. I want to get it all out before I go. And I don't mean off the show, I mean in life. I want to get it all out. My wife knows I laugh at a lot of stuff I shouldn't laugh at. But deep down inside, I have a heart, family. I have a heart. But this is some things where they're not really harmful to nobody else except that person. So on this count, I'm going to let this one ride, okay? So this is coming from our sister Juicy Genius, right? And the message here to stay on, bro, look at her neck. What in the Men in Black Mags Reptilian is going on here? Okay, I'm going to say it one more time so you guys can get it. Bro, look at her neck. When I show this video, look at her neck. It says, what in the Men in Black Masked Reptilian is going on here? Look at this, family. You got to look at this video.
What in the Men in Black Masked Reptilian is going on here?
That's not even a turkey neck. That is Kamala Harris' neck, guys. I didn't even look at it when I was looking at the State of the Union. I didn't even see that. But people just do the weirdest things. Who would just zoom in on Kamala's neck? Oh, God. They're trying to focus. Oh, my God. That looks horrible. Oh, man. You know, the funny thing is, the only thing I can think of is that people in politics and people in entertainment, because even Joe Biden, they look like they went to a place where they got their face tightened, where they pulled the skin back, right? And then I guess that extra skin goes down into their neck. Because Joe Biden, to be that old, he has really tight skin for a white man. You know, usually they're wrinkled the hell up. Isn't Joe Biden like in his 70s, late 70s? So when you think about his family, they're going to like these Hollywood plastic surgeons, and they're pulling their skin back and they're putting it down in their neck. And granted, family, I'm gonna be real with you. Not only white people do that, black entertainers in that space do that too. These are some really weird people. And here's the thing. I guess if you have all the money in the world or access to all the money in the world, then what else you gonna do with your time? What else you gonna do with your time? That's what you have to ask yourself sometimes. Why do these rich people are the ones who are usually the weirdos? Now, in this story, family, I hate to kick a dead horse, beat an old drum, but this continues to happen to our people each and every day. White cops arrest 2 black women while witnesses tell them that the white guy punched one of the women initially. The guy only gets a summons. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this. There's a lot going on.
First. Okay. He hit her first. No, Amber.
Now listen to this. The women who are talking sound to be Caucasian. So they even have Caucasian representation saying, no, that guy hit that girl first. When your face and your skin in your lineage has been literally the face and the fall child for the criminal class in America, it's like the police and law enforcement, any cries, any evidence, anything to counteract their narrative that they've already concocted in their head, they become deaf to it.
Amber.
You don't need
to. She's fine. Let her get in the car.
You're going to be under arrest for
what? She didn't do anything.
Are you serious? Yep. Hands on your back.
Oh my God. She didn't do anything.
I didn't do shit. Hands on your back. Y'all are fucking crazy.
He hit her first. There's 3 women and a witness telling you guys.
There's other witnesses. He's getting a ticket.
Nah, it's okay. Can you come?
So are you arresting him?
He's getting a ticket. For
A ticket? A ticket, but she's getting arrested?
So, of course, we don't know the whole story here, family. But what we need to understand is that he initially hit her. And they're locking up the two females there. I don't know what's going on with that. Wow. But family, this has to stop. And I'm going to be real with you. We need a lot more of us pounding the pavement. We do. We need a lot more of us pounding the pavement. We need a lot more of us speaking out. And then our Caucasian friends who knows what's going on, they have to stop being afraid to speak out. But we can't depend on them. Just keeping it real, you can't depend on them. But it would be nice, right?
You don't have to put them that tight, bro.
They're not that
They
tight.
are that tight.
Wait. I'm confused.
Can you take me? Because I don't trust him.
Yeah. Hello?
I don't care.
Okay.
She said she
Yeah, they're
confused.
arresting Amber and Charlene.
A female can come get you.
No, I don't want her. She's mean.
Okay.
What the fuck?
She's not even doing anything, so why are you touching her like that? He hit her.
Stay back here. You don't want to catch charges too. Stay back here.
You guys, he hit her first.
I understand that.
He hit her first.
We can go over this at fucking court.
So when this lady who's ever recording it says he hit her first, initially this same cop stated, oh, well, he's getting a summons. He's getting a ticket. A ticket? He literally committed assault. And again, I know family want to get in one side of it. We don't know everything that occurred, but the rebuttal of this officer, I mean, family, you can't even make out what he's saying because he's just bumbling. So whatever they're doing doesn't seem just.
Why isn't he getting arrested? She's on the phone right now. No. He just told me he's only getting a ticket.
Same thing.
I like how the other cop walked away. You see the other cop? Because she asked a direct question. Why is she getting arrested? The other cop was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I got a family and kids at home. Let me get out of here.
A ticket? Is he going to jail? Is he going to jail? Is he going to jail?
Not county jail.
So he's not going to jail, but he...
And the problem with these cops, they're so cocky and arrogant. He laughing. She's like, is he going to jail? Is he going to jail? Is he going to jail? He said, not county jail because he's the county jail cop. He's like, I'm not arresting him.
hit her first, and she's a woman, and he...
Okay. At the end, I hate when people bring the whole sexism argument into the conversation. It's like, he hit her and she's a woman. It doesn't matter. Ma'am, I wish I was a police officer because he'll be locked up because it doesn't matter if it was a he or she hitting whoever. It's assault. Assault. This ain't Washington State where two people was on the street and they said, hey, I want to fight you. And the other guy said, I want to fight you too. Because did you know in Washington State, they have a mutual combat law, meaning that if both parties agree, you can actually stand in a fight, fist fight, stand in the street and fist fight. I don't know if you guys knew that. In a lot of these states, stand your ground, mutual combat, that if you both agree to have a fist fight, then you can have it right there on the public streets. I've seen it in Seattle, family, and the police won't intervene until somebody gives up or unless somebody gets knocked out. If the police is catching you, you don't have to call the police, nothing weird like that. But if the police come on you and you yell out mutual combat and y'all just fighting, they're going to let you fight as long as you don't destroy anyone's property, someone's car, someone's business. They're going to let you fight. It's called mutual combat law. Yep. There's some states there that will actually allow you to fight. Okay. So, but family, that's all what I had this late afternoon. I know that the game is about to start here. Everyone's getting their knickknacks and chip chaps. I'm just going to read some of your notes here. Jay, the informant said need to reach out to Q. That would be a good look. Is Dixon an independent? No, Stephen. Here's the thing about Marcel Dixon. He's been on my broadcast twice here. He runs on the Democratic ticket, but a chunk of the things that I know that he will go after will probably look Republican. If you ever heard him speak or talk guys, just go back and look at one of my last videos of Marcel. Look at my last interview of Marcel. And he basically says the reason why he runs on a Democratic ticket is because Black people systematically vote Democrat. Right? Because when you're living in a system of white supremacy and running as a Black queer man like Marcel, automatically you're not going to get a lot of votes. But if you can appease to your Black congregation, you can appease to your Black demographics, you can appease to your Black community, then there's a good chance you can get into office. If they could essentially bypass your lifestyle and really hear what you're saying and the policies that you will produce, he will get elected to be a congressman, the 6th Ward of California, where Jim Crow Clyburn is currently sitting at. I believe Marcel's for the people and the good of the people. And he understands in order to fix America, you must repair Black Americans first by paying what you owe America, which is reparations. That is what he's on. And, not to get into this argument, family, but I'm just going to address this. I kind of have to address this every time I talk about reparations. You always have people come out the woodwork, no matter their color, no matter their race, no matter their ethnic, always trying to counter and deflect that particular argument. Let me just tell you this. We're not going to talk about slavery, Jim Crow. You already know those. If you're so hard-pressed against reparations for foundational Black Americans, U.S. freedmen, descendants of American slaves that are melanated in this country, and what we have done and built and bled and shed for this country, then I want you to have the same energy and the same argument for those Native Americans that are still receiving reparation till this day, that pay no taxes in this country. I want you to bring that same energy and argument to them of their land being stolen and we building the land, and that we've been fighting for umpteenth amount of years to get what is owed to Black Americans. Why you guys are oppressed? You guys are lazy. You guys are in hoods and ghettos. You live in slums, and nobody knows the history of Black Americans in this country. See, the problem with this country is the mass illegal immigration. Because first they come over here, no knowledge of Black Americans, only white people. And then even those who become naturalized and become citizens in America, they don't have a course on Black history. They don't have a course on Black contributions, all the inventions and engineers that we've created the first in. The very foundation and the fabric of America was built on the backs and blood and the voices of Black Americans thumping the ground each and every day. That don't go on. They don't cheat. They don't teach Indians, East Indians, those from the country of India. They don't teach the Chinese or the Japanese or the Korean or the Irishman or the Italian or the British person or the Portuguese or the Spaniard person. They don't teach these other people of the contributions that Black Americans have made for hundreds of years. What they teach them is by showing depictions of professions that Black people have, like a drug dealer, a pimp, a lowlife, a dusty dude, a criminal, a killer, a murderer. That's what they do. They don't show the depiction of themselves being the world's biggest killers by literally genociding people from the dawn of the dawn of industrialism. Back in the early 1400s, when really things started to be logged and tracked. They don't show that. They don't show how they wiped away the Tasmanian people. There's literally none of them left. They're extinct. They almost wiped out the so-called Native Americans, red Native Americans, as well as those Black Native Americans. Almost wiped them out. Almost wiped them out, family. The exterminating of people. But they'll talk about Chicago. They'll talk about Baltimore. Did you know that majority of mass shooters are Caucasian? Majority of mass shooters kill, subtract that word, YouTube. I know I'm gonna have to do a review. Majority of the people that they delete are their families. See, you only believe what you see on TV. You don't know the actual stories. They would show this independent mass shooting, and that this occurs every time. But when you go look at the numbers, you're seeing over 200, over 300, because these mass shootings involved when people go out and delete their families, and that's mostly Caucasian men. They don't teach that history to the immigrants and foreigners that come over here. They don't teach them that. They don't teach them that. They don't teach them about Elijah McCoy, Charles Drew, Vivian Thomas, Murray McLeod Bethune. They don't teach them about those. They just show them they were slaves, a bunch of slave movies, then a bunch of gangster movies, and then they just play some rap. They don't tell them about our greatness each and every day. That our struggles, all the laws that were on the books on local and state and federal levels to prevent and stop Black people from progressing in this country. They don't even teach the citizens of America this, let alone immigrants and illegals that come across the border. They're not getting taught this. They believe what they see. They believe what they hear because, family, think about you. Do you just go out of a library and pick up a book about the culture of the Chinese people? You don't do that, right? You don't do that. You start to kind of learn about people before you visit the country. You start maybe doing a little research. But no one picks up a book like, you know what? I want to learn about Turkish people. And then, oh, I didn't know Turkish people did that. So you know that people come over here and say, you know what? I'm going to pick up a book to learn about Black people in America. This is a great book. The Achievements of Black People in America. Let me read that. People don't do that. So unfortunately, when they show these immigrants and people who have been naturalized a video as they're being migrated and immigrated into America, they show Black people as poor, destitute, live in dilapidated areas and slums and ghettos, and that we're the criminal class and the poor class of America, that none of us are intelligent. Some people are simply racist because they believe that you are stupid. I'm going to say it again. Some people are inherently racist because they believe a group of people are just stupid. Like, why are you guys taking up this good oxygen? Believe it or not. I just had to say it, family. I'm sorry. I went on a little rant there, but I had to say it. I'm just believe me, a lot of YouTubers and influencers, they get tired. And every now and again, I got to get off my chest. I can't hold it in. Stephen God remind me to tell you something about Black farmers offline. All right. The stress killing her. He running Democrat. He was independent. I don't think. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It says Umar Johnson proves that point. He basically against reparations. Yeah. Here's a question. Why would a Black American man who is an FBA, right? Talking about his lineage, not a group. We're not a group. FBA, lineage. Why would he go against reparation, or why would he try to dilute the reparations conversation? Because he's such a pan-Africanist. It's kind of like, why not educate the Africans to take up their beef with Europe, where they just gave you your independence? Most of the African countries who were colonized by the British, by the Portuguese, by the French, by the Dutch, and also even by the Spaniards. Why don't he teach them to take up their beefs with them and give reparations to help rebuild their country and improve their infrastructure and do better for their people? But no, he's talking about Africans in America who are not foundational Black Americans. They should get reparations too. That's why a lot of people are creating distance with Umar Johnson. He's getting, listen, he sounds very intelligent, right? He's a much better speaker than I. But you know what makes you stupid? Stupid comments like that. Stupid comment. I used to, family, you kind of know my world, who I follow, who I operate. Professor Black Truth, TD Hip Hop Media, Tariq Nasheed, the Black Authority, Philip Scott, Tory Rain. I listen to a lot of people, right, within the Black empowerment space, who's beating the door on reparations. And it used to be Umar Johnson. I just don't listen to him anymore. I just don't listen to him anymore. He sounds so intelligent. And I know he's probably a whiz at child psychology. And I wish the brother all the best with his school and building that all up. But if you're not for Foundation of Black Americans, then you're against us. And he seems as though he's against it. He really have the Pan-African movement where he's like the only one in the space right now. Because, family, the only thing you have to do is go on social media for 5 minutes to see Black Africans and Caribbeans speaking down to Black Americans. And again, I know those very few people don't speak for all of them. But I'll tell you this, going to some of these countries, family, they treat you worse than the white people. You go to Caribbean, Bahamas, Jamaica, they treat you worse than the white people who are there colonizing them, buying up their land, buying up their business. They treat you worse as a visitor, and you share some of the same ancient old history deriving from Africa. You share the same struggle. You share the same oppression. You share the same skin color, but they give you no love sometimes. And again, when you have individuals on social media perpetuating that stereotype, and then you go to the country and you get more of that energy, then you start to believe and know that it's true. And again, I'm not saying every single Caribbean, every single Bohemian, every single African. I'm not saying all of them are off code, especially with Black Americans. But let me tell you from personal experience, there's a lot. Unfortunately, there's a lot. Okay. So anyway, I don't want to tally here too long. I'll just let you guys have a great and wonderful Super Bowl. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.